In the bruised light of early morning, just before the sun pushed its way over the horizon, the quiet neighborhood of Redwood Heights felt unnervingly still. Patrol cars whispered down the street in slow procession, their lights off, their engines low. Something had shifted in the early hours of dawn, something that left residents peering from windows, clutching coffee mugs with trembling hands. Word had spread overnight. The missing girl had been found, and not just anywhere. She had been found inside the impounded Tesla belonging to R&B singer Davion Hale. The 22-year-old viral sensation whose songs about heartbreak had carried him to stardom. But this was no song, no music video. This was the kind of story that clung to the air like smoke. Davion, known worldwide simply as d4vd, had been arrested 3 nights earlier after being found asleep at the wheel of his Tesla, parked bizarrely in an alley behind an abandoned shopping outlet. His car was impounded. Routine procedure. Officers logged the vehicle and no one had reason to suspect what lay inside. No one imagined the nightmare sealed behind the tinted windows. For 2 weeks, 17-year-old Amelia Grace Porter had been missing. A bright, shy girl with wire-frame glasses and a fondness for old poetry books, she had vanished without a trace after leaving her after-school job at the local bakery. Her parents, Martha and Neil, plastered the town with flyers, Amelia smiling shyly, a pastel backpack slung over one shoulder, begging anyone to come forward. The town had prayed. Some had feared the worst. And others had whispered the unthinkable, that Amelia had been taken. It was a rookie officer, barely a year on the job, who first suspected something was wrong when the impound lot opened that morning. He walked past the row of cars, jotting information on a clipboard, until he paused at the Tesla. A smell he couldn't place hit him, faint, muted, but wrong. Something old, something still. He tried the door, locked. He cupped his hands against the tinted glass. Then he saw it. The scream that tore out of him shattered the morning stillness. Within minutes, detectives arrived, followed by medical examiners, crime scene analysts, and the cold, brutal machinery of a full homicide investigation. Yellow tape rose like walls, reporters flocked like vultures, helicopters thumped overhead, and at the center of the chaos lay the black Tesla, its doors finally pried open. Its interior now a crime scene frozen in time. Amelia's body was already in a state of advanced decomposition. She had been hidden in the back seat, partially covered by a blanket, her backpack tucked beneath her, as if someone had tried, however feebly, to preserve some scrap of dignity. The world changed in that moment. The town's pain became a storm, and the storm needed someone to blame. When police learned the car belonged to Davion Hale, everything tilted sideways. The young star had already been in custody not for violence, but for reckless endangerment after the strange sleeping in the alley incident. He had seemed confused, disoriented. Some said he looked frightened. Others said guilty. Now detectives rushed into the interrogation room, placing photos on the metal table, photos of the car, photos of what had been found in it, photos they themselves struggled to look at. Davion stared at them with hollow disbelief. This isn't real, he whispered. But the camera recorded every flicker of emotion crossing his face: shock, denial, and something else the detectives couldn't quite name. Grief, panic, or guilt. Detective Laura Monroe leaned forward, voice steady. Davion, Amelia Grace was found in your vehicle. You understand the gravity of that? He swallowed hard. His breath trembled. I didn't hurt anyone. I don't even know her. Then tell us how she ended up in your back seat. Silence. Long, crushing silence. Davion stared at his hands, trembling fingers, bitten nails, the fading stamp from a nightclub still visible on his wrist. His life had been spiraling long before this, but nothing could have prepared him for this moment. Nobody's going to believe me, he said finally. Try us, Monroe pressed. Davion closed his eyes. I left my car and locked out a lot. I was stupid. I was careless. Fans sometimes sat in it. Took pictures in it. I never thought, he broke off, choking on his words. The detectives watched, weighing every breath. Someone used my car, he said. Someone put her there. But it wasn't me. Outside, the world had already decided. Crowds gathered near the station, holding signs, holding anger, holding heartbreak. People who had sung along to his lyrics now screamed for justice. Others, not many, but loud, insisted on his innocence, convinced he was being framed. It didn't matter which side was right. A girl was gone. A family was broken. A community had been scarred. Martha Porter stood before the cameras that afternoon, her hands shaking, her voice hoarse from days of crying. "I just want the truth," she whispered. "Please, someone tell me how my daughter ended up alone in that car." Her pain spread across the country in seconds. Parents clutched their children tighter. Teens posted tributes. Millions watched Amelia's last known security footage, her small figure walking down the sidewalk. Unaware of the darkness closing in, the footage became a symbol, a warning, a wound. As investigators combed through the Tesla, they found something that turned the case even darker: a second set of fingerprints. A jacket that belonged to neither Amelia nor Davion. Strands of hair that didn't match either of them. A possible third presence. Rumors swirled. Was Davion telling the truth? Had the real predator used his car to hide the body? Or was this some elaborate attempt to mislead investigators? The world watched with held breath, because somewhere out there, walking free, was someone who knew exactly how Amelia had died, someone who had slipped through the cracks while a grieving family, an angry public, and a terrified young singer were left drowning in questions. And as night fell over Redwood Heights, Detective Monroe stood outside the impound lot, staring at the row of cars, each one quiet and still beneath the floodlights. "This case," she murmured to herself, "is far from over." The wind shifted, sirens echoed in the distance, and somewhere in the shadows the truth waited, a truth more horrifying than anyone yet imagined.